Magical, it's romantic, and it will remind you how every single choice you can make can impact your life.
Oh.
I loved both of these books, and congratulations.
Yeah,
how
yes.
proud you must be of your daughter. You can scan the QR code on the screen to buy these books, and everyone in the audience is going home with a free copy of each book.
Yeah.
So, we want everybody to have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the view, and remember, you are not in this alone. We are in it together, and we'll get through it together. We'll see you tomorrow.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Honey, where's the countertop?
I sent it out to the granite shop this morning to be replaced.
Wow.
The quickest turnaround in the business, the Granite Shop in Sedgwick.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Several candidates have dropped out of the Democratic race to replace Graham Plattner. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. A Mattawamkeag man was arrested after police say he struck and injured a family of 4 with a vehicle in Lincoln, and a structure fire in Montville has been ruled accidental. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Monday afternoon. The clouds that we had earlier this morning have cleared out, and we'll be under a mostly sunny sky today. The rain that we saw in Canada have cleared out as expected, with high pressure right nearby, so those have since fizzled. We do have some showers and thunderstorms over the Atlantic Ocean. Those will stay there. As for us, we are going to stay dry today. Just a little bit breezy out there. Notice we do have some sporadic clouds expected. Overall, a mostly sunny sky. We'll watch for more clouds on the way overnight. A mostly cloudy to partly cloudy sky. Those clouds will continue to move in as we head towards your Tuesday. So as we do push forward today, look at this. Not bad. Upper 70s, mostly sunny and breezy out there with that west wind at about 25 miles per hour. And oh yeah, no smoke to worry about either. So that will be rather nice. Mid 50s overnight, partly cloudy, and that south breeze backing off to about 5 miles per hour. And then there's tomorrow. It gets a little bit active, but not by much. Upper 70s, mostly cloudy and windy. The winds pick up, though, out of the south at about 35 miles per hour. Here's your hourly forecast for the afternoon period. So sunshine, some clouds with temperatures overall in the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. Some of the candidates for the Senate have ended their campaigns after it became clear Troy Jackson picked up the majority of support over the weekend. That included Secretary of State Shannon Bellows. Bellows released a statement Sunday saying, quote, "Donald Trump's attacks on our democracy are only accelerating. The best way I can serve our state and country at this moment is by focusing exclusively on my role as Secretary of State. This has been an unprecedented nominating process compressed into days instead of months, and I'm grateful to every volunteer who worked around the clock for this movement. That energy is exactly what we need to beat Susan Collins in November, and Democrats don't have a day to waste in unifying around that shared goal." Bellows, who recently came in fourth in Maine's Democratic primary for governor, announced her campaign for U.S. Senate on July 9th. Following her exit from the race, she did not endorse another candidate, but is urging Democrats to unite quickly behind their eventual nominee. Dr. Nirav Shah has also suspended his U.S. Senate campaign. In a statement, former governor, the CDC director said in part, quote, "A few weeks ago, I entered this race because I could not accept the idea of Susan Collins gliding into a sixth term at the very moment Maine families are being forced to pay the price for her votes. Today, I am stepping aside, and I'm doing it for exactly the same reason that led me to get in. We must defeat Susan Collins, and the Democratic Party must be unified to do it," end quote. Shah also announced he's endorsing former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson to be the Democrat Senate nominee. Both Shah and Jackson lost to Hannah Pingree for the Democratic gubernatorial nomination this past primary election. Jordan Wood also announced that he's suspending his campaign and is endorsing fellow nominee Troy Jackson. In a social media post, he said, quote, "We are suspending our campaign for U.S. Senate, and I'm proud to endorse my friend Troy Jackson. To my team and our volunteers who gave everything around the clock with almost no notice, I am so grateful to you. This fight is bigger than any one person. I'll see you on the doors this November," end quote. Wood was the third candidate vying to take Graham Plattner's now vacant Democratic U.S. Senate nomination to suspend their campaign on Sunday. Out of those three, only Shaw and Wood openly endorsed Troy Jackson for the nomination. A Holland man is dead after crashing into a median on Interstate 95 Saturday night. According to Maine State Police, troopers responded to a report of a single vehicle crash in the median of I-95 near mile marker 210 in Edinburgh shortly before 8 p.m. Saturday night. Upon arrival, first responders found 61-year-old Bruce Ireland deceased inside the vehicle. Ireland was the only occupant in the car. Police say preliminary findings indicated that Ireland was traveling northbound on wet roads at a high rate of speed when he lost control of the sedan, which entered the wooded median. Officials say Ireland was not wearing a seatbelt. The investigation is ongoing. A Mattawankeg man was arrested after police say he struck and injured a family of four with a vehicle in Lincoln on Saturday. According to Lincoln Police Department, the incident happened shortly before 3:30 p.m. at the intersection of Main Street and West Broadway. The preliminary investigation indicated the vehicle traveled through the intersection, left the roadway, drove onto the sidewalk, and struck the family of four. Police say the victims included a 24-year-old female, a 29-year-old male, a 5-year-old child, and a 3-month-old infant. According to officials, the adult female sustained serious injuries and was taken to the hospital by life flight. The three other victims were also taken to the hospital with what police believe are non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the vehicle was identified as 57-year-old Carl Hartley of Mattawankeg. Police say Hartley was arrested and charged with operating under the influence of methamphetamine. He was also charged with unlawful trafficking and scheduled drugs after officers found suspected illegal drugs and additional drug-related contraband during a search of the vehicle. He was taken to the Penobscot County Jail. According to Lincoln Police, the investigation remains ongoing. Hartley is expected to appear in court today. Authorities say a state trooper prevented a potentially deadly incident Saturday night by intercepting a fleeing wrong-way driver on Interstate 95. According to Maine State Police, shortly after 9 p.m., a Maine game warden was responding to a search and rescue call traveling northbound on Interstate 95 near mile marker 186 in Bangor when the warden encountered a Chevy pickup truck driving erratically in the passing lane. Police say the driver, 60-year-old Lawrence Knowles of Norridgewock, brake-checked the warden and ignored the emergency signals. The warden notified police and attempted to stop the truck. Officials say the driver then used a restricted emergency vehicle crossover near mile marker 191 in Orono, then accelerated southbound to over 80 miles per hour before crossing over near the Hogan Road in Bangor, traveling south in the northbound lane. Authorities say that's when a state police sergeant rammed the truck, forcing it off the roadway and into a ditch where another trooper and a warden boxed it in. Knowles was then taken into custody after a brief standoff. He's facing multiple felony and misdemeanor charges, including eluding an officer, OUI, reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon, among others. The suspect sustained minor injuries and was transported to a local hospital before being taken to the Penobscot County Jail. We're told no officers were injured in that incident. A structure fire in Montville has been ruled accidental. According to the fire marshal's office, investigators responded to Montville to investigate a reported structure fire involving a small camp. According to the Montville Fire Department, the incident happened on the Choate Road around 12:30 p.m. The property owner was not at home at the time of the fire, and the fire was reported by a neighbor. Investigators determined the fire was caused by the failure of a backup power bank that was being used to provide power to office equipment. Officials say the electrical service had recently been restored to the area prior to the fire. No injuries were reported. The Maine Supreme Judicial Court has overturned the results of a select board election in Clifton in a 4-3 ruling. The election was originally called for former Select Board member Cynthia Grant over Stephen Armenia by a vote of 114 to 113 in March. The results came into question when the following day 2 uncounted absentee ballots were discovered and gave Armenia a 1-vote win over Grant. A Clifton resident challenged the ballots after it was discovered they were gathered by Armenia and belonged to other family members. On Thursday, the Maine Supreme Judicial Court ruled that the 2 ballots would be counted per state law and the results in favor of Armenia would be certified. Residents of Clifton we spoke with are concerned over the change as well as questions regarding Armenia's own residents in Clifton. We spoke to 2 who didn't want to be identified.
They didn't do the process right. They didn't take the ballots out. The right person didn't sign them in. There's a lot of stuff that went wrong. And then they say they found him 24 hours later. It's kind of sketchy. They shouldn't have counted.
He should not be allowed to be sworn in. He's not a legal resident of the town. Right. I can't run for a position on the select board for the town of Eddington because I reside in Clifton. I work in Eddington, but I reside in Clifton. So how can someone else from another town run in our town and get elected?
Armenia has been registered to vote and pay property taxes in Clifton since 2020, legally allowing him to run for office. In a phone call with us on Friday, he said, quote, "I think it's great the votes were counted, not just the fact that they were for me, but that the individual's rights weren't violated." Armenia will be sworn into his select board seat on Tuesday, the 21st. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, we'll have the latest on the war with Iran. We'll be right back.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
I got hurt in this accident, and the insurance company isn't offering me nearly enough money.
If you've been hurt, you deserve to be free from your car accident problems, free from dealing with the insurance company, and free from your financial struggles. Call the Twos. It's free.
I made a free call to Lowry Law, and they got me $275,000. The Twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
This is big fun, Bangor style. The Bangor State Fair, 10 days of summer fun for the family. Welcoming the 70s classic rock legends, the Marshall Tucker Band, to the Cross Insurance Center Friday, August 7th. Presented by Hollywood Casino, Hotel, and Raceway. Bangor State Fair, presented July 30th through August 8th by Martin's. Plan your day at BangorStateFair.com.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Learning more about the U.S. service members killed in the Middle East over the weekend. The Pentagon shared the identities of 2 service members killed during an Iranian attack on a U.S. base in Jordan. A third unidentified service member was killed in Iraq. According to U.S. Central Command, as ABC's Christiane Cordero reports, the deaths mark a significant escalation in the war itself.
Today, the Pentagon officially announced the deaths of 2 U.S. service members killed in a wave of back-and-forth attacks in the Middle East over the weekend. Private Isabella Gonzalez of Carrollton, Texas, was just 19 years old. She and 25-year-old Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan of Ava Beach, Hawaii, were stationed at a U.S. base in Jordan when an Iranian airstrike hit.
We feel very badly, but those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
According to U.S. Central Command, a third service member was killed in Iraq during the controlled detonation of a downed Iranian drone. That person has not yet been identified. On the possibility of negotiations, a spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry said in a press conference today he doesn't believe the U.S. is acting in good faith. Both sides have repeatedly threatened to escalate the war even further. The intensifying back-and-forth airstrikes are now reaching a 10th night across the region. Iran's ability to pierce through some missile defense systems is raising questions among military analysts after the administration claimed Iran's firepower had been decimated.
Potentially, the Iranians are changing their tactics. They could be using more advanced ballistic missiles, some that maneuver upon re-entry, thus making it more difficult for Patriot to intercept them.
Ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, meanwhile, appears to be at a crawl. Maritime data firm Kepler shows the number of ships passing through the strait dropping to just 8 on Sunday, a dramatic change compared to the roughly 100 per day before the war began. As a result, gas prices are back up, now at $4 per gallon of regular in the U.S., according to AAA. That's 13 cents higher than 1 week ago. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Labour Party leader Andy Burnham met with King Charles at Buckingham Palace Monday and accepted the job to form a government, making him the Prime Minister. The offer happening shortly after Prime Minister Keir Starmer attended his resignation to King Charles III. The palace saying the King graciously accepted Starmer's official paperwork. Burnham recently became Labour Party leader shortly after Starmer announced he was resigning. After the meeting, he said his new job is to make politics work better for the people. One of the world's largest producers of salads and fresh vegetables is voluntarily recalling many of its iceberg lettuce products amid the growing outbreak. Nationwide, the CDC is estimating nearly 7,000 cases of the internal illness across several states. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Taylor Farms pulling nearly 3 dozen of its iceberg lettuce products off store shelves in 27 states. The manufacturer voluntarily recalling those products amid the cyclosporiasis outbreak that health officials say has impacted nearly 7,000 Americans.
On average, Michigan sees maybe 40 cases over the course of a year. Now we've seen over 5,000 cases. We're seeing many more cases come across our ERs.
Federal health officials say more than 1,600 people got sick after eating shredded iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms to Taco Bell locations in 5 states: Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Taco Bell saying it removed all affected lettuce from its restaurants. The recall also includes market-side brand iceberg lettuce sold at Walmart with use-by dates between July 18th and August 3rd, plus bagged iceberg salads, shredded and chopped lettuce, and lettuce romaine blends sold to grocery stores and restaurants across the country. The FDA says it continues to test lettuce to identify any positive samples and is working with Taylor Farms to ensure any affected products are pulled from the market.
The recommendations right now are to use whole heads of lettuce as opposed to using bagged lettuce or pre-washed lettuce. Even when you have the whole heads of lettuce, removing the outer leaves and thoroughly washing the inner leaves in warm water.
The FDA and CDC are still investigating. They say if you have any recalled products, you should throw them away immediately.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
After the break, people were celebrating in Lincoln over the weekend. We'll tell you about it when we return.
Your internet experience feels different, ultra reliable, lightning fast. With Fidium 100% fiber, everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Night, bud.
Zach, go to bed. So is cable internet still slowing you down? Enough already. Fiber up to Fidium. Get a 2 gig plan for only $65 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling main stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
Invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
If you've ever grilled chicken slathered with barbecue sauce, then you know the sauce usually ends up burning before the chicken ever has a chance to cook through. That happens because the sugars in the sauce caramelize so quickly, we end up with chicken that is charred on the outside while the center is still raw. But there's an easy fix to this. All we do is season our chicken with a bit of salt and pepper and pre-cook it in the oven, or you can put it on the grill without any sauce. And while it's cooking, we fancy up a bottled barbecue sauce by simply adding some honey and a bit of canned chipotle peppers that are packed in sauce. This is going to take ordinary off-the-shelf barbecue sauce and make it extraordinary. Then we slather our chicken with the sauce, and onto the grill it goes just long enough to heat through and for the sauce to begin to caramelize. Imagine bringing this to the table with all the typical go-alongs. And when you do, everyone will be raving about how juicy and tasty it is. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our two-step barbecue chicken so you can take your barbecue skills to a whole new level. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, and I'm glad I could share one of my favorite ways to cook chicken with you so you can say, ooh, it's so good.
Lincoln's annual Loon Fest returned over the weekend with plenty of folks out and about despite the rainy weather. Organizers say the event is a way to support the local economy by welcoming crowds to the downtown area. The weekend also offered a variety of things to enjoy, from live music to food trucks and local vendors and more.
It's such a great time. I mean, Loon Fest really in Lincoln, I mean, it's just always such a great time to just have the community out, have the food trucks in town, and just have some really great entertainment.
Loon Fest weekend may be over, but for more information on events in Lincoln, head to lincolnmaine.org. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Did you know
Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. Because of Susan Collins, states are banning abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women are dying. And she's still standing by it.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
I got hurt in this accident and I need help, but I don't have money to hire a lawyer.
If you've been hurt, we can take your case for free, and you don't owe us a penny unless we win. A free call and a free consultation could set you free from your car accident problems.
I made a free call to Lowry Law, and they got me $400,000. The twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson and Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson and Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. So alrighty, here we go. We have wave heights at around 1 to 2 feet according to the buoys, while farther off towards the north and east, a little bit active out there, but overall not looking too bad. Any active surface further off towards the east at around 5 to 7 feet. But again, the ocean not looking too ridiculous this morning. As for water temperatures, we're in the 50s and 60s at the moment. Same idea further out towards sea, but you look just farther down toward the south, definitely more active at this time. As we do check out the radar, we had some clouds earlier this morning. Those have since tracked off to the east. We have high pressure overhead for us, and that's caused any rain showers that have developed to fizzle out. So we are going to stay dry today. Under a mostly sunny sky, a few passing clouds as well. You can see some more rain over in parts of Canada. The good news is we're going to stay away from any wildfire smoke, so we are going to stay rather clear today with temperatures that will be nice. Mostly sunny, still some passing clouds, but it won't be anything too ridiculous. We are going to have more clouds moving in overnight with a partly to mostly cloudy sky. And then once we head towards your Tuesday, we'll keep the clouds, and the winds are going to pick up too with more scattered showers and some thunderstorms by late Tuesday afternoon into the evening, more so into the evening time frame. Some of those storms could get a little loud at times too. Notice by Wednesday morning, still some storms that will be left over. So as we head towards early Wednesday morning, there is a threat out, a marginal threat for some of the storms to get on the stronger side. We're talking gusty winds and hail with some of those storms before we're all finished up. Now, dew points will increase with that as well. We're talking dew points in the 60s and even 70s before those begin to decrease as we head towards late Wednesday and beyond. So for today, here's what we got. We got mostly sunny and breezy, highs in the upper 70s, and that west wind at about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, here we go, mid 50s under a partly cloudy sky, and that south breeze backing off to about 5 miles per hour. So we are dry tomorrow, mostly cloudy and windy, highs in the upper 70s, and that south wind picking up to about 35 miles per per hour. And here's your extended forecast. Tuesday night, we get active with the thunderstorms moving in. Again, some of those getting on the stronger side. The storms continue Wednesday with highs in the mid-70s. And then Thursday, we're partly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s. And then low 80s for your Friday under a mostly sunny sky.
Thank you, Devin. Spain dethroned the defending World Cup champion Argentina national team 1-0 on Sunday. It's claimed its second World Cup title. This is Spain fans partied from late Sunday into early Monday across Madrid. Madrid's downtown square was full of beaming lights, burning flares, and foot-stomping football fun. Spain's substitute scored the game's only goal in the 106th minute of extra time, giving Spain the win. Spain's last and only other World Cup win before Sunday at New Jersey Stadium was its 1-0 win over the Netherlands back in 2010 in South Africa. 2 paddleboarders in Texas saved a drowning raccoon in the Colorado River. Tucker Olinger and Owen Lee were fishing in the rain on Tuesday when they saw an animal in distress in the water. They paddled closer and realized it was a raccoon. Olinger reached out his paddle out to the animal and helped him climb aboard. The animal was seen looking around helplessly before nibbling at Olinger's shoe and taking shelter underneath of him. They reached land and the raccoon was seen running off without a second look. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
Live from the Maine Lobster Festival in Rockland, it's the Lobster Crate Races. Watch fearless racers dash across floating lobster crates. Will they make it or take a spectacular splash? Who will stay on their feet and who will take the plunge? Don't miss the Lobster Crate Races live from the Maine Lobster Festival.